Hello, going to do a short video about lighting as just random colours on there at the moment, and I keep saying it, that's orange and yellowy, but it should actually be that colour. To my eyes it's a deep red, but because where this phone works, it doesn't show them correctly. But people ask about lighting and controls and fans in comments, so I thought I'll cover a few things all at once. Be Quiet Lightwings, two different versions. Well, sorry, there's actually three versions of this. There's Airflow, which I've got on that one there, which is designed to basically pull out as much air as it can. All the rest are the high-speed static versions. So I've got them drawn in on the radiator there, taking it out and pulling in there. The reason why I have my GPU like this, people ask why I prefer it like this, is because in this case, when it's horizontal, the air wasn't getting from here, the warm air, out there as well as it could do, because this was right up against the glass. So the glass is getting warm, it was dead space down here, it was having to creep up here. With this way, because there's more of a gap now, when these are pushing, it actually blows the warm air up easier and then out. So that's why I have it vertical. And the other reason is this card does have call line, but it's not that bad now compared to the other ones, and you cannot hear it at all, especially when this is obviously got the glass side on. This is probably one of the best cases for hiding noises that your card makes. You can't hear anything. Like I say, it's I don't see myself upgrading unless I really need to, just because it's really good at making your PC quiet, this thing. As long as you have obviously these kind of fans and stuff like that. I mean, if you can have this kind of case and if you've got terrible fans, then it's going to make a noise. But yeah, so that's why I have it that way, because then it just blows it out and it's a lot cooler. I have these on pulling in, more so because I slightly underclocked on the power side for the CPU because it doesn't need it. It was the power for it was way over what it needed to be, so it doesn't get warm when I'm gaming and stuff like that. So the warm air that this does put into the case is nothing that bad compared to like ones I've had in the past. And warm air does come in, obviously this just catches it and it's out as soon as possible. So my temps are really good, the sound's really good with it, so I've got no complaints. Like I say, these are really good fans. Can't see me needing to upgrade or change them at all. Oh yeah, I did say this, Airflow version, and there's two different types. You've got ones which I think go to about 1,400 or 500 RPM, and these go to like 2,200, I think it is. I went for the faster ones just for the hell of it, even though I don't think they've ever been past 1,300 RPM. My airflow is that good that they don't need to go, they don't spin up. So, but I thought I might as well just get them just in case. But I believe the 1,500 RPMs are slightly quieter, but I mean that's 10 fans now, and you can probably hear outside more, or the ticking of the clock behind me. Anyway, so the MSI center I use to control the card and everything else. There's quite a few options on them. To be honest, I prefer the ones that it has for the card over than what it can do for the actual case fans. There's more options. So you can change the colours and everything else, but what's this one? That one's called Wave, so you got orange and red. Let's try and put that one to blue. Again, some of these colours won't come out right because of the way the phone picks them up. And you can change the speeds and other such things. That's probably my son you can hear in the background. So yeah, different colours. What's this one? Petroleum. But unfortunately, like 80% of these ones that you can have on your card, they're not available for your lights on your case fans that you can choose. I'm not entirely sure why that is. But I would say out of the best lighting controls directly from a motherboard, I would say maybe Asus has probably got the better one. Just off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember. I think it's quite close between MSI and Asus, but I think Asus probably do have the edge. Worst one, easy, Gigabyte. Absolutely horrendous. Zotac, it's a long time since I had a Zotac motherboard, so I couldn't really comment on that one. Yeah, just leaving it on blue, just so it's maybe a bit easier to see with all this red in the background. Whirling. What's another one? Marquee. So like I say, you can change the speed on that one. Let's increase the speed. So at the moment I tend to just have it all set to deep red, mainly because it's near where my TV is, which is there. So I don't want something flashing away like a disco ball. There is some which look really, really pretty, and if it was away from the TV, I would pick them just because they just look nicer, a bit more flash. But with where it is, it'll be too distracting when I'm watching my films and stuff on a night time. Deep red, if you're going to have anything beside your TV that's got lights, deep red is the best colour. It's the least distracting. Yeah, and as for the motherboard, you can just obviously go with steady, but there's not as many options. Unfortunately, I think there's only one that actually lets you change two colours. It'll either do its set colour or the colour you tell it to, like a one-off colour or rainbow. But I think there's only one on here that lets you pick two colours. I'm trying to find it now I've said that. I think it's the one called Flame. This is the only one where you can actually pick two different colours. The rest are all things that it sets itself. So Flame is basically meant to be like red and orange, to make it look like a fire as such. Or you can change it. Let's have a look. Change one to blue. So it should be like an orange and blue flashing away. So that one's quite good. Like I say, you can mess around with that one, but it's only one where you can pick two separate colours, which is a bit annoying. I wish they did more where you could pick two separate colours, so you could have two separate different colours spinning around or doing different things, but they only have one. It's not a big problem to me, but it's a bit annoying, especially if you've got fans which have good LEDs and such, and you want to get more out of it, make it look flashier, bling it up as it were. Yeah. So as for the next thing coming, I've mentioned to somebody in the chat, it's the cable mod adapter. I've gone for the red one just to match everything else, and it's just the type A, so we'll actually just go facing that way, because with the horizontal card it was meant to go up and then your cable goes up, but I'm just going to have it that way. So this cable here will literally just go from here to there. You won't see it. All this will be actually inside there, which doesn't bother me because I only really liked cables on show when I used to have the Lian Li lighting one, which used to have the LEDs and stuff on them. But until I go down that path where it's worth showing off the cable, I don't mind that it'll literally just be poking through there, and that's it. You won't see it. You'll just see like the motherboard cable, 24 pin, and that's it. After that, I've mentioned before the 7800 3D. Still need to do some research on that. Is it worth doing it for a 4K? Because it's more so on the 1080p and the 1440p. 4K, it usually comes down to this. this is where your bottleneck happens, not so much on the CPU side. I know some games do benefit from the 3D cache, but I don't know if it's enough to justify it. So I need to look into that, because that launches soon as well. Yeah, apart from that, the Corsair's going well. I've overclocked them. They're on the 6,200 at the moment. They are 6,000 to begin with, but AMD say that the sweet spot is meant to be 6,000, so I'm not going too far off that. I might go to 6.4, but I'll see. It's hard to actually have time to sit down and do a lot of testing to see if you gain anything as such. Like I say, a lot of the times when you're doing stuff at 4K, it's other things which you might have to worry about, like the faster memory and stuff, when you're doing 1080p and 1440p. But when you're on 4K, a lot of the stuff just all grinds to a halt if this isn't doing what you need it to do. So yeah, apart from one other thing I might go down the path with, but again, I like this case just because it hides all noise. It's ridiculously quiet when this has got the side on and stuff. I might have a look at the Phanteks. I think it says the NZ7, something like that, the new case, which is due anytime now. It's kind of like this one, but slightly bigger, but it has got some nice things it can do with interior, with different sloping with the fans and stuff, and some of the layout, and obviously some of the ports have been updated as well. But it does look quite nice, but where I'm going to keep it, it might be slightly too tall, so I need to have a look at that. But that's a nice looking case. That's a bit tempting, and it's got the glass and everything on it, so it should be quiet as well. For people that keep asking about this, that's the Deepcool 720. And this part pulls off. It's just like an LED thing that sits on the top. There is a 520, which is the slightly smaller one, but yeah, really, really nice. Obviously you can change all the colours and stuff that you want to do on that. I don't think I'll be changing that. I went off Corsair. I was using Corsair AIOs for a long time, but that Gen 7 pump is awful. I know people have it and say it's silent and stuff, but I tried 3 different ones of 3 different types, and the Gen 7 pump has just got a horrible whine to it. It's not good at all. Something happened. I think it was maybe a Gen 5 I had a while ago, and that was fantastic. That was really, really good. You couldn't hear the pump on that thing. I'm not sure if I had a 6, but when I was trying the 7, I've never heard anything like it. Really, really, really bad. But Deepcool with their pumps, they're doing really well. The only thing which is a bit of a downside is I wish they had the same kind of control software as like what Corsair has, where you could do everything rather than having to do everything manually. If they can release some software, even if it's quite basic, there'll be no going back. I said the only thing which gives Corsair to me the bit of the edge is the lighting that they can control with their software, and also being able to go straight into the pump, and obviously your fan speeds and alter things on the fly. That's all very good. Deepcool, obviously you have to go into the BIOS and things to change it, what you want to do with how the fans and the pump works. Which it's okay. It's not too bad. You can fine tune it, but if they could do some sort of software, it would be a no-brainer to just keep going with them, because they're cheaper and to me they make a better product. Yeah. And that's it really. That's just more ramblings. There's nothing really to talk about as such, because I have no drama or dilemma. And now that I've said that, my PC is probably going to burst into flames. So with that, I better go and get the fire extinguisher. Bye.